Well, hello, friend. This is your friend Spencer here. I want to deal with something that Billy Graham said years ago that seems like every couple of years this kind of makes its rounds again, and it's making its rounds now. And I want to talk to you about it for just a second because it is very essential to really understand what is being said here so that you can really get a grasp of modern current Christian trends and why they are detrimental to the doctrinal health and well-being of the local church. I want to tell you that the devil has nothing new. He has the same old lies, and he just gives a new, fresh face on those lies every generation. He just basically plays the same cards, just from a different angle, and that's all he does. He has no new tricks. The same old things he plays over and over again. If you learn to see those tricks, then you will be you'll be very, very ahead of the curve when it comes to not falling for a lot of these same old garbages that come down the pike every couple years. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about this article. This is making its rounds through social media. I saw this article probably 20 years ago. And, well, it may not have been, but this is a very old article, at least 10, maybe 15 years old. And the article says this: a church member unhappy with new music at the service. And this is basically Billy Graham's defense of contemporary Christian music. Now, I want you to understand something. If you're like me and you have some spiritual sense, at least to some degree, and you see the issue with Bethel Hillsong Elevation, and you should. If you don't at this point, you're in bad shape. You need to go watch our Third Adam documentaries. But I'm a type of guy that I like to look at cause and effect. Okay, this is happening. Why? Let's go upstream a little bit and see where this started. Well, Billy Graham is the one that is responsible for guys like Stephen Furtick. Okay, if Billy Graham had not been what he was, then Stephen Furtick would have never existed. You have to understand that if you're going to follow me where I'm about to go. Okay, that is an essential thing, and if you want to understand more about that, go watch Third Adam. But here's what it says. Church member unhappy with new music at service. Dear Reverend Graham, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but from time to time our church music director introduces new songs into the service, and I don't care for them. I just like the old hymns and wish he'd just stick with them. Should I complain to our pastor? Billy Graham answers, I know this has been a controversial issue in many churches, and I don't pretend to have all the answers, especially since I'm not particularly musical. But we have a singing faith, and God has given us a gift of music to praise Him with. The psalmist declared, with singing lips my mouth will praise you, Psalm 63:5. Instead of complaining to your pastor or anyone else, I urge you to ask God to help you to be grateful for all music that points us to God, new or old. No, you may not like some of it, but others do, and God can use it in their lives to encourage them and bring them closer to Christ. Remember the old hymns the old hymns you like were once new, and someone probably didn't like them either. Sometimes I'm afraid a hymn can become so familiar to us that we sing it without even thinking about the words, but this is wrong, because then our singing becomes empty and meaningless. Don't let this happen to you, but meditate on the words of the songs you sing and even turn them into a prayer. Your music director has probably been wise to introduce new songs slowly. Completely changing everything all at once can be disruptive. Pray for him and encourage him. Let him know that you're grateful for his gifts. Yes, let him know you appreciate the old hymns, but support him as he seeks to reach a new generation through music. Now, there's a couple points here I want to understand and want to point out to you. And the first one that's right on my mind here right at the very end is talk about reaching a new generation through music, which is what it says right there. First of all, God never used music to reach people. God has always reached people through the preaching of the Word of God. It's please God through the foolishness of preaching to save them that would believe. And so I want to minimize the role of music in evangelizing the lost. Music does have an essential role in the local church, but I would not say that the tip of the spear of evangelism is music. There's no way I would ever say anything like that. Now, I do agree with what he says here about these old hymns. You just sing them just out of repetition and whatever. And I understand that a hymn can become meaningless. I mean, Lord have mercy. How many times? There's been many a times I have heard a man preach on something, having going soul winning or something like that, going evangelizing the lost, and some thoughtless, brainless piano player gets up after a sermon on sin and wickedness, or just something that is very specific, and then gets up and starts playing Just As I Am with that one plea. I mean, that song does not mean that. That song has no real, it has no value in you doing that as the invitation. That was not what the sermon was about. That was not what God was speaking to hearts about. And so you're just mindlessly playing Just As I Am over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I agree, that can become very repetitious, but the answer is not to get new songs. The answer is to play the same good, tried, tested, proved stuff with a refreshed and renewed mind and a refreshed spirit, being revived in your personal walk with Christ and walking in the Spirit. We don't need new music. We just need a reset on our walk with God. And here's the deal. Okay, she doesn't like the new music. It's been a controversial many issues. I'm not musical. Instead of complaining to your pastor or anyone else, I urge you to ask God to help you, grateful for all music that points us to God, new or old. Now, here's the deal. Most of the people that share this article and see, they say, we want new music in our church, and there's nothing wrong with a new song. But here's the game, and here's the little trick that they're playing on everybody. Is that they are conflating this dangerously bad doctrinal stuff, Bethel, Hillsong, Elevation. They're saying, well, the only reason you don't like that is because it's new. And if your thought of what we're saying and the concerns we are raising about this stuff is you don't like it because you're new, two things are possible. Number one, there's probably several other things too, but number one, either you don't understand the argument, not even 5% of what the problem is, or you're just lying. Okay, I understand why people like Casting Crowns. I get it why you like Bethel, Elevation, Hill. I understand why you like all that stuff. I mean, Carrie Job is a marvelous singer. She's got a great voice, and I understand why people like all that stuff. But when we raise the doctrinal points that we have, and on this channel we have tried to work very hard to have doctrinal points, not personality points. We're not talking about I just don't like these guys because they're just effeminate, and we're not saying stuff like that. I'm talking about doctrinal, serious issues with these people. And your response is, well, you just don't like new music. Well, that's absurd. Like, I don't know anybody who gets up and says, okay, all songs written after 1997 are bad. Like, nobody's saying that. Okay? Like, there is not a soul on the planet who is making that point who has above a room temperature IQ, okay? And for you to project to me is to saying that, well, you just don't like it because it's new. I mean, what kind of fool do you take me for? Why would I be against a song because it was written at a certain point in the history of the world? I mean, why would I say this is better because it's older, this is wrong because it's new? I mean, there's new songs come out every year that are good, that I think are fine, and we sing some at our church, thank God. Okay, but new or old is irrelevant. And I've said this before in a couple of videos, and I want to say this again. It's not that these songs are new. It's that these songs are new age. And that is a completely different thing. When Bethel gets up and starts flopping in the floor like fish and starts shaking and jerking and having Kundalini awakenings right in the middle of this, and they start spinning, which is a New Age practice, and they start talking about, let your mind and body align, and just saying all this New Age stuff in these songs. It's not about the point in time in history when they were created. If you're saying that's our argument, you need to clean your ears out or stop lying, because nobody said that. It is not the fact that they are new. It is the fact that they are New Age. And that is a completely different thing altogether. And it says here, even instead of complaining to your pastor or anyone else, urge you to ask God to be grateful for all music that points us to God, new or old. No, you may not like some of it, but others do, and God can use it in their lives to encourage them and to bring them closer to Christ. And even goes on, the old hymns were the old hymns you like were once new, and sometime someone probably didn't like them either. Well, that's not the issue at all. It's not about it being new. It is about the bad doctrine being promoted in these songs and all the things that are going on there. And really, here's the deal. If we're going to talk about music, let's talk about all of it, and let's talk about all the terrible things that are going on here. I'm just taking to 1 Timothy in the Bible. Let's just pull this up on the screen. 2 Timothy chapter 3. And I think every Christian should have this verse memorized. This know also in the last days perilous times shall come. That's actually not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for 1 Timothy chapter 4. It says here, the Spirit speaketh expressly, at latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So listen, if and it doesn't matter if it was created in 1950 or now, or 1850 or now, if a entire music program infiltrates a church, and it has such a strong effect on that local church that they actually start accepting damnable doctrinal heresies, then as a preacher, I have a right to voice my concerns because the doctrine is shifting. It's the doctrine that is shifting. Well, if it causes you to go into healings and charismatic and astral projecting, I have every right to say that's a doctrine of devils. Well, what caused, like I said before, cause and effect. What was we know what the effect is, the doctrines of devils. What is the cause? Well, the cause is seducing spirits, which is what this music is. So I'm sorry. Now, I don't know when Billy Graham wrote this. I don't even know if he wrote this. But Billy Graham is showing a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful misunderstanding of this issue, or he's just being intellectually dishonest. And with Billy Graham, who knows? Because some of the things that man has said have been inexcusable. There's no question. If you don't believe that, go watch Third Adam. We just showed you what the man said. Dangerous stuff, man. So it's not about we're hating on music because we're old fashioned. I don't even know if I like that term old fashioned anymore. Jeremiah 6:16 says, "Seek ye the old paths." I like old paths. I think that's fine. And I think it's a biblical concept, and I think people should say it. But I'm not arguing that here. I'm not arguing old paths. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying here is the doctrine is shifting dramatically. What caused it? It was the music. So toss the music. The music's bad, not because of the time in the world that it was created. It's bad because of what it does to a local church. Get rid of the trash. Get rid of it. By the way, if I was old-fashioned and whatever, I don't think I'd be having all these lights in the background. I mean, there's lasers on the wall back there looking like stars. How cool is that? I mean, I'm not some fuddy-duddy sitting here, trying to be old-fashioned 1950s, whatever. I'm standing for doctrine in this day and age, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Hey, guys, I want to encourage you, join this channel as a channel member. That way you can support our work that way, and it'll be a blessing to you, and you get access to all kinds of perks and things like that. We give away free books and free CDs to people who join at a certain level. You can check all that information in the description below. Also, if there's a red subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, and that means you're not subscribed to the channel. Please consider doing that. We'd appreciate that, and if this video was a blessing to you, hit that like button, and that's a wonderful thing. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and we will see you guys very soon. Have a good day.